Welcome to Legacy Cast, your source for hearing from top influencers, industry experts, and successful business owners who are telling their unique story about life, values, goals, business strategies, and the various causes they are so passionate about. Future generations will come to be impacted by what is happening today, whether positive or negative, and our mission is to focus on what is going to affect change for the better. Hosted each weekday by James Snow, a former U.S. Army combat medic, now founder and principal advisor of James Advisors Group, a full-service financial planning firm in North Texas. This is Legacy Cast. Welcome, Legacy Cast listeners. This is your host, James Snow. Welcome you to the program this morning here. And I have with me today the founder of Pitch and Rudder, Terry Meynard, and a retired Navy gentleman. So I just, am very happy to have him on the program today and be able to tell you a lot about, what he's doing with his corporation, the things that are going on in his world, and what he's doing to make a difference. That's something that's very near and dear to us here on the program because, after all, when we're talking about things such as legacy and things of that sort, it's really important to look at the bigger picture as far as what people are doing to make a difference. It's what are you doing today that's going to sort of create that lasting effect on society that's going to resonate into the multiple generations. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Terry onto the program. Welcome, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so now I know that you're retired Navy. What was your ultimate rank when you were in the Navy? I saw some pics, and you had a lot of stripes, my friend.
So I just retired in August, and I retired as a senior chief. So basically, like we were talking earlier, it's a lot of herding cats and having a good time.
Excellent. Yeah, we don't put that many stripes on guys in the Army. So I saw a lot of hash marks on your sleeves. It's excellent. Thank you for your service. Now, with your company, Pitch and Rudder, you've got a whole lot of irons in the fire with what you're doing there. I mean, it's not just the challenge coins that you're known for, but you've got a lot of things going. And you were just mentioning adding an apparel designer about 3 months ago that you're sort of branching into that direction. And tell me a little bit about that.
So we've kind of had a philosophy of every time that we hammer down a product line, then we want to pivot so that we can get into something better and grow and expand. You're always going to have a ceiling when you're dealing with metal, So for us, initially we just did challenge coins. And then we got into the belt buckle side. And then once we hammered down all the belt buckle designs and we got really good at it, we realized that there's a really steep difference between trying to design something in metal and trying to design something on fabric. Right. There's a lot of illusions and stuff that we can provide in fabric that you have to learn how to do that stuff. In metal, I don't have to try and make an illusion. I can just make it happen, in 3D. Right. So for us, instead of trying to learn how to, be a designer in a totally different medium, we just went out and brought an apparel designer on board. And that for us is allowing us to create custom shirts and custom designs in that category that we weren't able to do before, at least not to the level we are now.
Yeah, and it's kind of I'd like to kind of make a point on the fact that you did make the decision of bringing on somebody to do that, because with so many business owners I talk to, they want to basically kind of keep all of their fingers in every pot, and it's like diversifying is sometimes a difficult task, and being able to delegate that over to somebody else is a difficult task. I personally I'm sort of a control freak with my business, and so handing off something is sometimes not the easiest thing for me. And so I commend you for having the insight that when you're wanting to get into a different medium like that you're actually bringing on somebody to spearhead that.
Thank you. So in the Navy, I was an electrician, but for like the last 12 years, I was a maintenance controller. So we stand behind the counter and we direct maintenance for the aircraft, all the different work centers. And what we do, it's called stacking maintenance, getting everybody to work on this plane at the same time to meet the mission and meet the flight schedule. And then ultimately we release the jet. For us, I can't know every person's job that's on the other side of that counter. So I have to be able to let go and trust that the individual that's talking to me is going to give me the right information. So we just kind of carry that over into our business. Are they trustworthy? Are they solid people? We look at their portfolio. We make sure that they're up to snuff and they bring with them the same level of creative design and integrity that we have and we hold true for us. And then we just stay out of their way. Because ultimately, if I try and do everything, it's not going to be nearly as good as if I just back up and let the expert do his job. So being able to do that in the Navy allows us to do that in the business world so much easier. It's the same thing with our website. I tried to do it myself. I built it up, and then I gave it to somebody, Sean Briggs, and let him do it, and he did an amazing job. And I just backed off and, hey, you're the expert. You do what you do, and at the end of the day, I'm happy.
Yeah, and it's really good philosophy to follow into, and certainly the younger business people that are listening to the program today. I would encourage those listeners, to take note of this. That's one of those things that's going to be a differentiator. It's going to be a game changer for you. Is learn from other people's experience, and just go ahead and when those times come along, if you can afford to go ahead and bring on that extra person, that probably is going to be a wise decision for you. Rather than trying to give a hat to somebody else that's already on board, is let somebody that's an expert in it deal with that stuff. So kind of getting back to the subject of legacy, though, when you're thinking about legacy, Terry, I'm sure that at some level, with your business here, that has some play in what you're doing. Would that be correct?
So it does, and then again, it doesn't at the same time. So initially, when we started the business, we never thought that it was going to get big. Like it literally just for the first 9 months was so that I could take my family to Disney and not have to worry about coming out of pocket to do it. I could sell one coin and take the family to Disney for the month and have no issues. And then as people were buying coins and then people were requesting us to make more coins, I was like, wow, we could transition this from, being a hobby to I could pay my car off with this. And then we could set a large chunk of change outside of this for savings and everything else. Excuse me. In regards to legacy, my views on legacy are kind of twofold. So I think legacy for us has to do with more of how we leave the people we're around than just the financial responsibility. So for us, I think that every person that we encounter, that we should try and make them better. And so with that, we try to help everyone. Even some of our competitors, we've helped shore up some of the weaknesses in their company so that they wouldn't go under. Just as a way to, show like, hey, this is the way you're supposed to treat other people. This is what it means to be a good person. And in our demographic, there's a huge market. So I'm not going out there and saying that everyone should help their competitor, by no means, but our demographic is ginormous. And by helping somebody else that's in the same scope as me, I'm by no means hurting myself. But for me, I think that if you're helping people, that performs a better or brings a better legacy than just the financial stability for your family. I kind of look at it like, go ahead. I kind of look at it like toys. and stuff that I give my kids. So we have 4 kids, and they break toys all the time, So if I can treat them or teach them how to be a good person now and how to interact with people and help everyone around them, and how, every time they meet someone new, that they leave them a better person than they were, before they met them. Hopefully at some point when they do come into, being a part of Pitch and Rudder, they don't treat it like it's just a bad Transformer toy and break it right away, So I'm trying to get them to understand the whole picture, not just the monetary value.
Sure. And that really is ultimately important. It's, even though, some people will think of, legacy as you mentioned, a financial one, it's also, an educational legacy or a societal legacy. It's what are you doing to make the world better, in whatever aspect. So I'm glad that you're making point to the fact that it's not just, speaking of dollars and cents there, that you're actually looking at a bigger picture of how are you improving, those that you're around, and how are you improving other businesses. And it's very admirable that that you're bringing your integrity to the table on even helping a competing company to how can they be better so that their legacy is better. So that's certainly what we should do here, and not enough people do it. I don't think that people are not helping their fellow person. So another salute to you for that one. Do you feel like it's important that people actively consider what they're doing in their life, either on a personal or business level, when it comes to legacy or planning for the long term?
So for planning for the long term, absolutely. I think if you don't plan for your future, then I think you do a disservice to your kids and the society. I think you should always be putting away something, getting something set up so that you can retire, and having that target age of when you want to just, step away and be able to be successful when you do step away from your company. Or if having a company is not your thing and you just want to step away from the employment line and you want to be able to, enjoy the latter years of your life. So I think that you should always think about that. But actively thinking about your legacy in regards to personal and business, I think it should be second nature. I think if you're a good person and you want to make the impact on everyone, I don't think you really have to think about it. I think it just comes natural. I don't think you have to look at each situation and say, like, today, should I choose to help them today, or should I let them falter? I think it's just one of those things that, happens naturally, and it's a part of your character and a part of your personality. So actively going out to think about your legacy every day, I don't really do that. We do plan for our future. That part I think is incredibly important, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Now, when you're mentioning from a business standpoint, you kind of alluded to an area that's very important for business owners, is when you're thinking about your business, how has that impacted what you've done with your business as far as you as the founder thinking of your company and those that are part of that and those people that you touch with your business, and then the legacy of that when, for example, when you step away from that at some point, how has that impacted what you've done structurally?
It's a really good question. So that's the vetting portion of the process. When we bring new people in, making sure that they hold the same values that we hold. And right now, everyone who's a part of Pitch and Rudder is a either active duty or retired chief in the Navy. So off the gate, all of us hold the same values. We're all in the same brotherhood. We don't all think exactly the same, but we all have the same basic understanding of why we came to the conclusion that we came to.